Hello, this is Duane, the Great Writer, and this will be episode 6 of the Real Wake Up Now. And with this episode, we are going to have some fun going over the reality of the new you and the new you sessions, more so defined. It's all very simple, so I will simplify it in a rather lengthy explanation. We will have fun with this. And so what I've explained in the past becomes accumulation of what comes into the very present now, because all life is always here and now. With the new presentation, there is no traditional ideas. We have done things in the past. Those are references only. There are no sacred writings. One of the ideas here I want to express is that Duane, the Great Writer, the New Man, Duane Hepner, etc., has no followers. There's no such thing. There is no master idea here. We have nothing to do with politics, religion, spiritual paths, transcendental, forms of psychic magic, etc., etc., etc. No, we are just, it's very, very simple what we do, and that is that we are here with the all-natural environment life is. Just like the birds and the bees, we are just very real with what we do. And we do provide the real news now, and that is that our commentaries are not criticisms. We just simply provide what is taking place right now in life. And so I wanted to go over the new you, how this came about, which it has always been in the minds of people in creation, and most people are not taught about creation. And this is understandable because we're in a one-dimensional, literalized world that is controlled by others who want to make sure that it stays that way. And for those of you that want to free yourself from this one-dimensional matrix, we show you how. It's just really that simple, and it's a lot of fun. So, to be freer than the birds, we show you how to do that. Now, through human history and what we've learned in school of it, we don't get all of history at all. We only get parts of it, very, very small parts. And so much of it is actually a purposely planned distortion. And so even when people wake up, they still usually go with the distortion because they feel that this is a business world, and the business world is basically created for one purpose, and that is to survive here. But there is a bigger picture to survive, and this is what we show everyone who is interested. It takes some effort. You must earn your way, just like a person does here, where they, if they have a job and they start off in a certain position, and they, work their way up the ladder, so to speak. What's so fun about what I'm presenting, it supersedes everything, and that is that it's not about up or down. It's about what is real now, and it's an isness. And once you really grasp this, then you can let go of chasing things and the effort to do so, along with all the stress and just simply growing old lifetime after lifetime. But if you decide to do that, that's your choice also. So again, we just simply provide, I would say, a much better option, but not everybody can see it. So you have to learn to see it. And it is not always something that's very evident as what's taking place in the world. It takes time to see it. But once you do, then comes the best part, because then it becomes endless. It only gets better and better and better. Where this world here is not getting better, it's actually getting worse and worse and worse. People look at the inventions of this world as an example in technology, the industrial fact, the business side. Yes, it's business as usual, but it's only getting worse. It's getting more polluted, and the end result is very real, and history shows this already. I really don't have to go over this. If that's the route you want to go, fine. There are many new inventions coming out all the time. They all sound good, and a free energy for everybody, better food, better whatever. That's all fine, but you're still in the one-dimensional matrix. What I'm presenting is about your real awareness. Now, just a little brief history here about the new and the new you. As we look through the down into the past and into especially the religious and political systems that rule the world, which are actually the same, we see different ideas being presented, the holy, divine, spiritual ideas that have been presented. And to a certain point, these things did work. It's kind of like when we were young and raised by our parents. Those were the good old days, you might say, when we were coddled and it was fun and we were taken care of and we didn't have the stress of the everyday world, and it was where we were basically babysat, is what it is. And many of these paths, they do the same thing. They actually babysit the individual, and their reference is usually the gods of man, which were actually invented by the original invaders here. So I suggest you read and do a little research with my books. Listen to some of the tapes. I go into a lot of depth over this, and so give out a lot of information. We've done this for many years. I have 8 books out there, so it's fun to read these things. They're a lot of fun adventures. And so the history of the new you, what has come before is the ideas of these other words or mantras or chants, etc. And again, they all had their place respectfully. Again, just like when we were young, we rode the tricycle. Now most of us were a little bit older and we're driving cars, and we do ride bikes once in a while, but we're basically driving cars. So we've surpassed the tricycle altogether, but it was fun. And so the ideas of like the the Hu, the Amen, and then every particular invented group or spiritual path or meditation, yoga, whatever, has their own words, ideas, chants, hymns, etc. And these things are all fine. The only thing is that they pertain to creation only and with the gods of man, and this is their reference point too. And for the most part, most people do not understand the gods of man. They've been given ideas, but to have the actual experience, and many people experience the light of the astral realm, etc., which is not the real light of life. It's just simply that. And many people experience out-of-the-body movement, which is like astral projection, remote viewing, quantum leaping, whatever you want to call it, and that's all fine. That's all a valid experience. But there's a whole lot more than that. What has always been behind the scenes, but the people of the earth and other planets and other round worlds, etc., in the physical realm and in all of creation, the basic 5 levels, and there are so many more than that, which are the physical, astral, causal, mental, and etheric, and then there's the deep dark border between creation itself, the bubble of creation, and the real universes, as I've termed them. In this area here, you have cause and effect, reincarnation, and karma. And when you're dealing with the gods of man and the authoritarians of the earth who seem to know what they're doing, which they really do not, it's just mainly almost 100% deceptive marketing ploy, because they want to keep you here for lifetimes as their support system, because if everybody leaves and goes to the real universes, well, gee whiz, then they have to toil the soil by themselves, and they just really don't want to do that. So they want to keep as many people here as they can, literalized to their invented systems, which really look good, the colleges, universities, educational system, etc. It all looks really good, doesn't it? You get your diploma and you can hang it on the wall and you can show your neighbors and your friends, and you can, dust it off once in a while. It's really cool, isn't it? But it doesn't provide you real freedom. We show you how to have real freedom. but you must have the courage to stand in it. That becomes the difference. It's more than just an idea. In the physical realm, on the earth especially, I mean, we're at rock bottom here because we're all on rock, and that is that there is only implied freedom. There can never be real freedom because you have the physical body. You also have 4 other bodies that correspond to the different levels, which you were not taught in school. And so, like I've said, behind the scenes is the new you. And I myself was brought up through certain areas, and it was purposely so. I was to come into this lifetime and to gather the information and the references. This is really all references to providing what I call the new presentation, and I called it this simply because that's all it can be as a presentation. It's like the sun shining. All it can do is present itself to you. You can define it any way you want, but all it can do is present it to you. And the sun is its own reality, and we don't look to the sun. That's not the idea. The sun is a good reference, like you have reference material in school and reference books. These things are simply reference. And what I'm providing is simply a lot of fun reference for people to get their own experiences from the real side, which I call, and that is the isness life is, and to better understand this, which supersedes the gods of man, because it is direct. The new you, the new sound, is the real connection and is the new way out of cause and effect creation now. And so in the past, we had a lot of implied ideas. And even Paul Twitchell, the real guy that created his presentation, was simply the first step. He laid the foundation is what he did. And so it's understandable that most people that were with Paul, and he had a membership with this corporation, that they felt it was the ultimate. Well, Paul was connected because he had the rod of power from Rebbe Tars, and so he it would seem as though that he was providing the ultimate. Well, within himself, you might say, I'll just use that term, yes, he was. He had the real connection with the real guides and the all is. The true reality of life is, the all is. But at the time, people weren't ready for this, so what he did is he created actually a secondary position. And this secondary position still exists today, only it's been taken over by the original invaders, and the which he even used himself, and then went into the hue, etc. Well, these things have been taken over. It's just like a company that's been taken over. And in time and space creation, as these things are taken over, then they're basically down to an astral level. And most people don't really see this because for the human person, as we are in this human body, as we're in this physical body, I should say, it's very difficult for us to see past it, but we can create any idea we want about the situations we're in. So it all sounds good, it all feels good. And so basically most people are physical and astral. And this is where these so-called paths or ideas are. And this is where I was shown to bring out the new you, simply because it was time to just directly go into the real universes and surpass these so-called ancient connections, which really just go to the astral realm right now, because creation itself, even though there are the several levels to it, from the astral, causal, mental, etc., it's all really kind of squashed together. It's all collapsing because people are actually agreeing to that and deciding that. It's like the old hell and damnation idea of heaven and earth. You know, it's either you go to hell or heaven after you die, or you leave the physical body. And actually, there's many heavens. There's endless heavens, and no one is restricted. But those that control the earth, they want you to go to their designated heaven simply because, and it'll be a happy little place for you. It's a happy little place. Kind of like an institution on the earth when you're not feeling too good here and you've kind of lost it, you might say. So they take you to this little happy place and you're happy. And that's fine. And then you grow old, like you have for many lifetimes. And then you come back unconsciously and you start again. And if you're into that, hey, it's available. You can come back as many times as you want. But there is a catch, and that is that it's not getting better here. And every time you come back, you exit and you come back in. It's kind of like, leaving the neighborhood that you used to live in, and then you go back 10 years later, and all of a sudden it's a lot different. It can be better, but usually it's worse. And this is how the earth is getting. So this is not a doomsday forecast. It's one that things just happen, just like the body grows old, the house gets old, situations here, the earth is changing, with all the poisons, pollutions, Wi-Fi, just everything that's taken place that is deteriorating the natural environment. So it is time for the new you. And again, the new you is very, very simple. All one has to do is sing the new you. And we have recordings of this. And I will do a little new you for you here, and it's very simple. You don't need other techniques. This is not a technique, okay? This is not a spiritual exercise, all right? It is simply very real and very wonderful. It's just that simple. A child can do it. Adults seem to have a little, sometimes they have little attitudes about it. It's like, no, just simply sing the new you, new you, new you. Sing it in your own way. You can sing it laying down on your side, in the bed, in a chair. It doesn't matter. It's not postulates. Your back does not have to be straight for the chakras. It has nothing to do with the chakras. You can be standing on your head. It doesn't matter, because life is an isness. This is the real connection to the isness. It's, again, like I said, it is not a technique. And so if a person wants to focus on their chakras and the different levels, that's fine. It's a choice. You don't have to. This is the full picture. And so I've made it very, very simple, because that's how my lifestyle is. I was chosen by the Real Universal Guides to bring this forward. 2001, it was finally time, and I'm having book 9 come out. There's going to be a lot more to this. 2001, August 3rd, Paul Twitchell and Rebazar gave me the rod of power, and it's just very, very real. I know that sounds kind of funny, but anybody can see that on the real side if they simply take the time. And the two individuals after Paul really did not have the awareness even for that. There was a lot of funny things going on, and again in book 9 I'm going to reveal this. But right now it's about the new you. Now the new you has always been here. It has always been, and it's just being revealed. Paul in his books hinted at the isness. That's all he could do, because people were not ready for it. So he built the foundation, and if he were to present that to the world, he would not have gotten very far. So he created a position. He actually put together a lot of his experiences with other so-called spiritual paths and what have you, his life experiences, and created his corporation to present to the world, business end and the physical. And then he was the real guide, because he did have the real rod of power with Rebazar Tars and the Real Universal Guides. And so he created a front for people to see, like a storefront, so that he could take them on and have various experiences with them, and so-called inner journeys. And so, but there's more to life than just the inner journey. That's just the first step. There's a much, much bigger picture there, but very few people have the awareness to see this. Very, very few. And so it was my time to do this in 2001. Actually, it was my time before this, but there were certain situations that took place that did not allow it in the physical sense. In the true sense, it was already there. It was simply already there. And so, again, in Book 9, I will be revealing more of this. It becomes a lot of fun. So just like today, people are seeing what is taking place with the governments, the human farming aspect that is ruling the planet. They're waking up to this, but not everybody, as we can see, because people are still into the political and religious systems. It seems like they just do not want to see past the restrictions they keep agreeing to. Well, this is a choice.